learn with us on Bass University Live. Bass University Live starts now. Welcome to Bass University, everybody. We've got one of our great friends, Bryan Schmitt, a super champ, wins again on the Potomac River. Rich, is he the best tidal water fisherman ever played this game?
It's hard to argue against it at this point. I mean, just in the sheer volume of winning and the rate that the winning comes, not only on tidal water, but just in general across the board. There's it's hard to argue with the fact that if you put Bryan on a tidal body of water, or even just a grass fishery in general, that it's going to be a handful to deal with. It's definitely in his wheelhouse, and he showed it once again at this recent Toyota Series down on the Potomac River during a notoriously stingy, difficult time of year, being September, all across the country, but tidal water in general, it seems to be a little tough, and he got it done once again.
Man, he sure did it in a big way. If you're a guy that wrestles with river fishing, tides, wants to get more confident in the grass, this is your guy. He's our guy, and we're glad to have him as part of Bass University. We were all active this week. We'll be diving into that a little bit today's show too. We were active down at the Chesapeake. We're all scrambling to qualify for the Bassmaster Team Championship, which congratulations, Riz and Justin, who's behind the scenes pushing buttons. You guys teamed up and got yourself into that championship just ahead of me and Jake. Well done. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a great year. Another great year on the Bay. Unfortunately, we did with the accolade that we were looking for team of the year. That was still just out of reach for us. Congratulations to Mike Centaur and Sean McKee and Duke Nave and Andrew Hively. They as well had a great year. It's always, I'm not going to say it's easy to get into that top kind of bracket in the team series stuff, but it's not as hard as once you're in that mix as it is to get over that hump. And there's a lot of there's a lot of great anglers that are out on the Bay fishing right now. So congratulations as well, Pete, to you and Jake. You guys finished in the top 5. It's an awesome accomplishment. It's a year-end goal. So very, very cool to see.
Yeah, we had fun. We had a blast this year. Interesting format, guys. If you haven't checked it out, it's the top 3 teams in the national championship, which is on Lake Hartwell this year, are split up into 6 individuals, and they compete for one spot in the Bassmaster Classic. And I haven't decided. We got to decide this week, but Jake and I may have to decline our invitation because Jake is man. He's been training for his wrestling season, and wrestling season gets kicked off in November. This tournament's in December, so we have to balance that out and make our choice. And we're not sure yet. We're going to talk to the wrestling coach, see if we can get a pass, but we'll see what happens. But I'd love to do it. Love to do it with my son. It's been a blast, guys. It's fall. That's why we're wearing orange, I guess, Rich. Yeah. We teamed up. We're the Orange Twins today. But you need to be throwing thump gel. This is the time of year when bites are tough. You need to get some thump gel and get it on your baits. It's going to help you get a few more bites as things tighten up. It's still September. It's still very tight around here. And also, Humminbird and Minn Kota, want to give a big shout out to them. And the big part that both of those products played in our season this year, just invaluable, getting it done, as well as Cash and Rods. Really, as we went through the seasons, right, we fished this year in the spring, a little bit in the early summer, and in the fall, we faced a variety of conditions and using icons, ranging from spinning rods to flipping sticks to chatterbait rods and cranking. So big shout out to Cash and Rods. They build some of the best rods on the planet. Check them out. If you're a Bass U subscriber, you get a great pro member benefit there, as well as pro member benefit for a lot of other stuff there at Bass University. Get yourself signed up because Bass University is coming to you with some really exciting things very, very soon. We keep talking about it. We're making some upgrades. We're bringing some new content. We're bringing some new and exciting things to all of our Bass U subscribers. You've been asking for them. We think you're going to love them, and we're going to be announcing what all that stuff is real soon. So get signed up now, as well as we're coming back to Texas and South Carolina this year for our classes, and our ticket window is open. So get over to bassu.tv, and I'm checking right now while I'm talking to you to there it is, class tickets. Go to bassu.tv. Class tickets are in the upper left-hand corner. You can see there'll be class tickets to click, and you can get yourself the early bird special for Bass University classes. We're working on our speakers right now, and we're going to have a host of some of the most amazing, talented anglers on the planet. Bryan Schmitt's been one of those speakers, as well as many of the other top pros. And we'll be putting those together for another amazing, exciting classes, a group of exciting classes this year. Some new stuff coming that we're going to announce. We got to start announcing some of these announcements. We've been baiting this for a while, Rich, but maybe on the next show we're going to start dropping some bombs and letting you know what's coming.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot. It's going to be there's going to be some cool new ways to access Bass U. And I'm excited. We're excited to roll it out. So pretty soon we'll start really showing.
Very, very soon. Well, what's going to happen right now is we're going to bring in the man, the champ, the guy. How many times do we introduce this gentleman as the champ? It's more often than anybody else, Bryan. You're just unbelievable at how often you can get yourself in the winner's circle. Congratulations again. Another amazing win on the Potomac River.
Thank you big time. This one, it means a lot. Like it really, really truthfully does. Cause it's been a couple years since I, got over the hump locally and been close, but close is one thing, like sealing it. And it was starting to bother me a little bit, to be honest with you. Like once you start traveling, once you start, leaving your area to fish other events and travel around the country, you don't know the heartbeat of the fishery that you knew for so many years. And the heartbeat's the key. So I don't know the heartbeat like I used to, but I was very fortunate to put a little deal together based off some old history. I saw a few bites in practice where I knew not a lot of people would even think about fishing, and that was a big factor this week. And then saw some crawfish hanging out their mouths. So a lot of things started to come together real quick, but it means a lot, man. I got a little choked up on stage, to be honest with you.
Well, it's very understandable, and there's a lot to unpack there. There you are with the trophy and the fam. It's so awesome that you're winning at home, so everybody's able to come out and see you. That's got to be special.
It truthfully is. My son's starting to get into it. Pretty heavy. My wife, we were fishing partners back in the day, and actually a spot that I used the final day, we fished 20 couple years ago. We fished it together on one of our first dates, and we actually named a table at our wedding after it. And I told her, and it ain't been good since, but look, dude, I told her, I said, going into the final day, I said, I might go there. And she said, I got a very special feeling. She's like, I know I can't say anything, but I got a special feeling. So it was a real cool experience, man. Like the family, everybody's there. A lot of good friends that I've known forever, man, were there. It's a cool thing.
What's the name of the table at the wedding?
Yeah, grass bed. Oh, I have to think about it, man. I forgot right now, but yeah. So, dude,
we weren't asking for any. We weren't asking for any spots, Brian. We're just looking for the name of the wedding table. That's all.
Unfortunately, it's a spot.
We might have to pull up the wedding registry from your registry. Start doing some advanced research.
It's wild, man, to think about it. To be honest, you know, we named that place, like we had 5 or 6 tables named after Potomac spots that we fished together.
That's cool.
That is cool. Now that's kind of unusual. I mean, did you meet your wife fishing, or did you start fishing with her after you met?
We quickly after we met, I decided I was like, hey, would you like to go fishing? You know, and she was like, yeah, I would love that. Well, what's interesting is, dude, you know how like you take a girl fishing and then like you're baiting her hook, you're working on tangles, like you're like a guide. Well, she's back there like this.
Get out of here.
I got one. She's talking trash. She's casting. I'm like, whoa. What's going on here? Well, her father is a charter boat captain, and she's been fishing forever. And that's a whole nother story. The first time I met her father, who's actually my best friend, he's my father-in-law, but he's my best friend. I'm not going to waste your time with that. But the first time I met him, wow. Oh, you're that little bass boat guy with a little blow-up bass boat. I got a charter boat. Like, wow. You know, I was like, this guy's a jerk, man. But we became really close friends after all that.
Yeah, well, I'll say so. I happen to know that you run a charter boat, and that's why you're here with. I appreciate you being with us today, because you're heading out for some striper action here shortly.
Yes, sir. Here at 11 o'clock, we're heading out for stripers and blues, and it's actually on big time. Really, really, really good. I think it'll stay good until like some crazy weather system comes through, but we're gonna have a good trip.
Well, that's awesome. Well, we appreciate you taking a little time to hang out with us, and you won on, and you said some things that were interesting. I want to kind of dive into them with you. Is a lot of times, man, that home water jinx can get you. It's hard to get into the winner's circle at home. Sometimes you have too much information, yet you're too connected. And then other times, like you said, you're not able to get out as much as you want, and you know, it's hard to win at home. But you did it. Like, what? How do you think you're able to be so effective at home? Is it all the years spent out there, or you're just connected to that body of water? What's your recommendation? Because I know me and a lot of other guys get into trouble at our home bodies of water, and I just did it on the Chesapeake. Those you and a few others sprinted out in front, and it was really hard to catch back up after day one for me. So it can be challenging on your home body of water.
It truthfully can, man. And then, you know, like I enjoyed that Bass Open because on the Chesapeake, I want to say, because we had an off limits period, and I really enjoyed that locally, man, because of just what you said. There's too much going on. When you know, when I fished the Potomac, you know, for a Toyota, it's too much going on, man. You know, so I wanted to really narrow this down, and I wanted to just focus on the bite. Like, I didn't want to talk. Like, I have a real good buddy that I talk to no matter what. He didn't fish the event, hadn't been out all year. I was relaying what I was seeing to him. But other than that, man, I really wanted to just focus in on what was going on. And thankfully, history of many years of fishing out there, I could see the way things were going. So once I sampled this core area, like an area that I always catch them on, man, and I didn't catch a fish, I knew something was different. And then I'm like, okay, I'm not going to come out here for 6-7 days, dude. Like, it takes, in my opinion, multiple days to dissect a sector of that river. If you want to take the south end, that takes 2 days. The mid river, 2 days. North, 2 days. It takes even more than that, really, to cover every inch, because in September, as you guys know, it is tight and it is stingy. They're going to show you just a little glimpse at the perfect time. So I decided to totally not look at a sector, and really only looked at one sector. I spent 3 days and I tried to learn every inch of where fish were at right now. And then I really tried to learn the tide. And what I realized really quickly, man, is these fish were only biting on incoming. And I don't care if it was like, and what was really cool to me, and you guys will probably agree to this, is like, dude, like the worst tide a lot of times for us is like that 3/4 of the way high or high. And it was like, dude, it was just getting better and better as the higher it got, and outgoing was terrible. So once I saw that, then I had to really practice the core areas only on that incoming water, you know, because you would never know they were there. Like, if you fish good spots on outgoing, you wouldn't get bit. You go there on incoming, you get bit. So it was a lot of things. I think narrowing down my search, my zone, narrowing down what I'm hearing, and just going out there. I know what it takes in September. It doesn't take crazy weights unless you get some magical thing that's happening. It's always going to be around that 15, 16 a day. And just trusting that, hey, I got a few things that nobody else is going to be running. I got a few lucky bites, dude. A few, like I caught one off of one spot that I only caught one off of. I had another spot I caught a big one off of, but the core fish came from this one zone I was fishing, and it just worked out, man. The final day, my co-angler, really good dude. I know him pretty good. Dude, he cracked them. I mean, cracked them. And had me talking to myself a little bit. Dude, he caught like probably 11 and change pretty early with the 3-pounder. And it was, here's the thing I want to stress for all the listeners. He did not bother me. This gentleman, I didn't even know was back there. He caught his fish, not being aggressive, not bothering me, knowing that he was around fish, and did his own thing and caught him. And I high-fived him the whole time. I'm like, hell yeah. But I went to another spot and he caught a 4 and a 3.5 almost back to back. I high-fived him, but I was upset at myself. I'm like, dang, I really could have used one of those. But dude, like, he cracks them, but he lost by an ounce. He lost the dirt by an ounce. Yeah.
Wow. You know, it's interesting because I want to ask you about that, because I've been dealing with that. You know, like I say, I'm immersed in training and teaching, especially my son right now in the high school division. And the last few tournaments, he's been working with, you know, other kids that are, you're basically competing against each other like you guys were, where you're not working towards the same goal like a team tournament. And when somebody starts catching them better than you, man, that is trying to teach a youngster how to overcome that obstacle is not an easy thing to teach, Bryan. How do you do it? How do you overcome that?
That's the game. So you have to say the biggest thing is, I found the fish. Okay. If you might be getting outfished, but you found the fish. And listen, guys, that is the whole game. Okay. there is an art to finding fish. There's an art to finding tournament fish. And if you find fish, you're not always fortunate to catch them. Somebody else might catch them, but you tell yourself, the process is right. I'm finding the fish, because that's going to pay off as time goes on. Now, put that aside. I found the fish. My buddy's cracking them. I'm not. Or my co-angler's cracking them, or my team partner, whatever it is. You have to calm down and you have to make adjustments quickly. Do not be stubborn. Stubbornness, big problem. I want to catch them how I caught them yesterday. I want to catch them how I want to catch them. He's cracking them on a pop bar. You're throwing a frog. Switch. Just do it, dude. So nobody cares. And here's another thing. Nobody cares when you get on stage and you say, man, I could have caught them like this, but I didn't because I wanted to catch them like that. No, they only care that you caught them. So, dude,
Right.
lose the ego. Adjust quickly. Always have a good vibe in the boat. So, dude, like all three of my co-anglers going into the Toyota event, I know all three of them. They're very excited. Man, we just have a quick little talk. You're going to be around fish, bro. You're going to be around fish. Just, show me the courtesy. Don't rush me. And, dude, once the day starts and everybody starts getting some bites and the high five start, the vibe gets going, it turns into this magical feeling. But it could go the other way. And the other way does not lead to success for anybody. You always have to have a good vibe. But the biggest thing, adjust, don't be stubborn, and feel good about yourself. Like, dude, there's so many people that never find the right fish. If you find fish, man, that's such a cool thing. You're not always lucky to catch them. Like yesterday, they're biting this. You pull up, and the first 5 minutes could be the best 5 minutes. And you're throwing a spinner bait. Well, he's throwing a swim jig and he's cracking them. It's going to happen, man. It's going to happen the best of you, but you're finding them. So be good about, feel good about that.
Man, Bryan, you could have not summed that up any better. And that's a tremendous advice for anybody that fishes BFLs. Anybody that's fishing those nation tournaments where you have boaters and co's, and honestly, it's exactly the same. It can be the same even in a team tournament situation where one guy, like Rich, you've been there. One guy's getting bit, the other guy's not, and he's spinning out.
Oh yeah, I'm notorious, and I said this to Bryan one time when we were filming. I said, man, I'm way better at finding them than I am catching them sometimes. And in a team tournament scenario, that's great, right? That's great. I'll net them all day long because I know that at some point throughout the day, things are going to click. And even if my partner's got me 5-0, 5-1, whatever, at some point in the day, I'm going to fall into my rhythm. I'm going to get my bites. It's going to happen. The problem, the challenging part is like you said, when you're in that boater on co-angler draw, and where I found myself getting in trouble is not making the adjustments quickly because
you're stubborn.
Yes.
And you're like, dude, I don't want him seeing me change to what he's doing. And I'm the same way, bro. But dude, you got one opportunity. You don't have much time, especially on the tide.
Yeah.
Like,
ain't no doubt.
The way I look at it is I'm not too proud because I found them. I brought you to them. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it is what it is, dude. I mean, that's, some people look at it as there's a disadvantage by having a co-angler. It can also be an advantage.
Sure. Yeah.
So
yes.
Figure the deal out, man. Bryan, you said something at the beginning of our interview here about crawfish, and the Potomac River with crawfish to me is like no place I've ever seen before. And what I mean by that is like you walk down the dock at Smallwood sometimes and you're crunching crawfish the whole way. have never seen, and maybe places across the country are different. I'm not that well traveled, but we don't see that on the Chesapeake. I've never seen that on another river. I've never seen that on another lake. What is the deal? Is that every year?
It's not, bro. It seems like it cycles or it goes in a sector that we just don't find. But that's in my opinion, that is the number one factor on that river on where big ones get, and a lot of them. And sometimes it's spread out, man. Sometimes there's crawdads in a lot of zones, but I've seen it where it's not that way and they only are in one zone and it is on fire. So for me, I'm always noticing that, man. Like I feel so much more confident if I'm seeing crawfish either crawling around the grass, seagulls picking them up, or like I catch a fish and it has them in their throat, because I've seen it where it's like that's all you're searching for. Like, dude, this one time in a spring event, there was like just this little bit of milfoil in this one zone. We were catching crawdads on our traps and chatterbaits. They were like nipping the hook, like you weren't snagging them. They were pinching our hooks. And dude, the mother lode was there. Like the mother lode of all mother lodes of bass was in that zone. So that's a big thing, man. And it seems like anymore the last few years they're spread out in a lot of different places. But if it collides, if the crawdads collide with the bass, it's on. You know, I think it makes them feed in a way that's more conducive to our river fishing mindset. You know, it keeps them more bottom oriented and structure oriented to where, like, you know, it makes them a little more reliable.
I want to make an observation on the crawfish to feed off of this. And this is a September tournament. Toyota, I guess we fished down there a couple years ago, 2-3 years ago now. I don't remember, but was watching the seagulls, like you said. I've never seen this anywhere, but the Potomac, the crawfish just up in the canopy, up on top of the canopy, not in it, but actually crawling in the air, you know, on top of the grass. And the seagulls were just there they are. And the seagulls were just like grazing on them. Like they would just patrol the grass and they would see one and come down and pick it off. And I actually developed my pattern based on what the seagulls were doing. And, you know, because typically, you know, you want to concentrate on like edges, and edges are always key, but what I found was just what you're describing. When that tide got up, it floated the mats and the canopies, and it allowed the bass to get in there and graze on the crawfish, just like the seagulls were doing on top. So it was the higher tides that activated the bite, just like you saw.
That's the whole deal right there, Mr. Pete. That's that's the game. And you can actually, you know, this is a little nugget I'll throw out there, man. You can ride this time of year, August, September, even in a little bit in October. Just ride around, just don't even fish, just look for the seagulls. They will tell you where the crawdads are, and they will stay in that zone for weeks on end. So that's a little nugget, you know, that you can really narrow down your practice, because one creek might not have them. The next one, there's 1,000 seagulls. There's probably something going on in there. So that's a big, big deal.
Wow. Yeah, that is a big, well, we've used the birds forever and ever, but them seagulls down there eating the crawfish. Why now? Rich had said it, but why don't those crawfish explode on the upper bay? I wonder. Is it the fertility of the Potomac? It's like it's different down there. We see crawfish obviously on the upper bay, not like down there.
I don't know the science behind it, Pete. And there was not a continuous 20 years of what we're talking about on the river either. So There could be a whole cycle thing based off of rains, floods. I don't know, but I would think they would be there just as good. But like we said here, I have not seen this every single year forever. So it's some years where it's just not a thing. But it's been that way for a few years now for sure.
Justin, bring that picture of that crawfish back up there. I'm assuming that's a Potomac crawfish that you picked, and even if it's not, doesn't matter. But if we look at this crawfish that was just up there, it's green pumpkin hue looking, and I noticed when the seagulls were up on, what you would find is where the seagulls would grab the crawfish, then they'd take them over to a dock and they would dissect them, and you would find bits. There he is. And I'm looking close at that guy. I see a little tiny bits of maybe orange on his shell, but I saw a lot of orange on the crawfish. I saw black. Brian, I saw every color in the spectrum of crawfish. Like you think that, all right, well, we're going to try to match the hatch. All the crawfish are green pumpkin. But there's a variety of colors, and I see you were using them black and blue to do well in the tournament. Talk to me about the color, these crawfish. How did you manage the color choices?
So I got all into matching the color, and there's a color called El Diablo from Missile. It's a D, especially in the D bomb, and I've caught their butt on it. For whatever reason, that bruiser flash, I just picked it up quickly. And once we get a bite quickly, okay, do we stop trying to learn? That's maybe the biggest problem is like we already figured it out. But I think it was more about imitating the profile and the behavior than the color. So what's weird is, man, like I catch them sometimes they're bright red and I'm catching them on like a green pumpkin bait, or I catch them and they're, the crawfish are actually like a green pumpkinish, and we're throwing a bright red, bait. So I don't know, man. Like I wonder sometimes if we try to overdo the color imitation, but we just need to match the action and the profile. So the bruiser flash, I got bit on quick, bro, and I didn't put it down. Now the other problem is, which you guys could definitely attest to, because anybody fishes tidal in this area in September, you're not getting a lot of bites.
Right.
You are not getting a lot of bites. So it's truly hard to pattern something. And that's the same thing on a charter boat. If you got 20 rods out and you're trolling and you catch 2 fish all day, you can't pattern anything. So I wasn't getting enough bites, and as stingy as it was, man, I dang on sure wasn't catching too many in practice, So it's just what I stuck with, and I knew it was imitating the crawdad profile in action.
Was that an ounce and a half weight?
And that was an ounce 20,
Okay.
And then I had an ounce and a half, and I had a 2 ounce rigged up.
Gotcha. Brian, what kind of line are you punching with? I'm right in the throes right now of a bad breaking off punching situation. I'm breaking fish off punching on 50-pound braid. And so I want to know from you, what line are you using and what pound line are you using?
Yep. So I'm using a 50-pound P-line braid, the zero fade. But I want you to walk with me on this, man. I have experienced what you're talking about, but when I'm flipping or punching, I'm not setting a hook. We don't need to dive into that. But like when I'm setting the hook with braid, I had a string of breaking fish off years ago. And once again, a co-angler witnessed this, and he told me, dude, to tie 2 he said, tie an overhand knot on top of whatever you tie, and you'll never have it happen again. And since then, I've never had it. And I set the hook like a maniac, like if I'm frogging or let's say like a half ounce flipping, flipping a D-bomb around in milfoil, like I'm whacking them, never broke one off. So that's like if I tie like a Palomar, I tie 2 overhand knots on top of it. You'll never break it. I don't care how hard you set the hook. You're talking about breaking them on the hook set, I'm sure.
Yeah. I'm talking about breaking them on the hook set. So I had it going on a little bit in the spring too, flipping 50-pound braid with just like 3/8 ounce weight. And I thought maybe it was a fluke or whatever. And I mean, I'm snelling my hook. So my tungsten really, it shouldn't be hitting my line. I mean, the impact point should be hitting the top of the hook, and it's not a fluke. I mean, it's happened now. This weekend would have been the 3rd time that I've broke a fish off punching with 50, and I'm like desperate to, I got to fix it, and so it's either go up to 65 or I got to, there has to be some type of adjustment that has to get made.
I don't do the overhand knot on the snell. Like I do snell when I'm punching, but man, I don't set the hook. I kind of reel into them and then pull when I'm punching. So I can't help you there, man. Like if you tie a Palomar and tie the overhand knot, I don't care how hard you set it, you're not going to break it.
Can you can I make a suggestion, Bryan? Maybe you can start a support group for guys like Rich that have the hair trigger that can't back off that throttle. And I get it, right? I got Rich working in the office, working.
I got him working in pinball, Bryan. I don't believe that you're just pulling it into him,
dude. I've learned from years of disasters that that's how I do it. I'm telling you, man. And it, especially on the Potomac in that hydrilla, like I reel into them.
Yep. Yeah, like I said, I'm rocking him up in the office, and he gets out fishing on the weekends. He's anxious and hasn't set the hook for several days. Man, he get that bite. Oh my God, gotta let him have it. And Rich can let him have it. You know what I mean? He's an athlete. He can let him have it. So we gotta figure out how to teach him this hook set.
You need to, which I heard Hackney does not snell. You need to stop snelling if you're going to set the hook.
Okay.
You need to tie the Palomar with the overhand knots and just be done with it if you're going to set the hook, because setting the hook really isn't conducive for snelling,
No.
That's
kind of some of what I was thinking is, so like I flip with an owner jungle hook, and it is not a welded eye. There's a point where that hook meets the shank, and there's a little bit of an edge to that. And so one of the things that I was thinking is like, is it that line cutting from the snell pulling up? Like, I don't know. I've gone through all these things in my head, but it's hard to think, like, you're not supposed to break them off on 50-pound braid.
correct.
There's some kind of disconnect there that has to be adjusted. And ultimately, I know that punching, you're not supposed to just black out and give them all the gas. You got to make some adjustments, but we don't get enough bites punching on the bay to like get those reps in, so it's like when you get the bite, it's just everything happens. But we
got to stay off the caffeine patches, Rich.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of adjustments we got to make, but I'm glad you're having this conversation because you're not alone. A lot of people have dealt with this, and it's really important lesson to learn. The key is you're recognizing it and, like Bryan said, in every angler, you can't be stubborn. You're recognizing that there's an error that's happening. So got to dive in here, make some adjustments, and try again until you get it dialed in for you. And but I'm going to fire it back to you, Bryan. You snell and you don't snell. Can you when do you do which?
I only snell anymore for punching.
Okay.
When I'm that ounce and a quarter and up. Just because for me, once again, I'm doing what works for me. It seems like I've lost too many fish being too hair trigger and really setting the hook. So I'll just I'll feel that bite and I'll reel down and pull in. And it seems like the snell's efficient. Anything other than that, I'm setting the hook, and because of the shock of setting the hook, I'm not snelling. I'm doing a Palomar with a couple overhand knots or the San Diego jam knot. The San Diego jam knot is exclusively for fluorocarbon for me. Anything with braid that I'm flipping and setting the hook, I do a Palomar with two overhand knots.
That's interesting.
Frog fishing for sure. Two overhand knots on top of a Palomar. I suffered from what Riz is talking about, dude. I'm telling you. And it was until I learned that trick, buddy, and I let them have it now. I'm telling you. You try that, Riz, I'm telling you, you're going to be like, you're not going to be worrying about setting the hook anymore either. You're going to have confidence that you can hit them as hard as you want.
Right. Now let me go a step further. So like I know that like going up to 65 and that solved my problem in the spring, totally, flipping with 3/8 ounce and doing that deal. It's also in my head a little bit that I feel like I can, one, be more accurate with 50, and two, my bait presentation is a little bit different. Is there anything to that? Like, is there that much of a difference between 50 and 65, or is that just stuck in my head too?
I feel the same way you do there, man. If I have to go to 65, I will, but I feel like everything's working more efficiently at 50. I feel like longer casts for sure frogging.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I feel like I'm more stealthy with 50 when I'm flipping. It's everything. So if I can go to 40, I will, but Lord knows you can't. You're really going to start popping the hook. But 50 is my go-to. I'm the same thought process. 65 just seems like a huge upgrade, and it's a
little stiffer.
Stiffer.
What's the hook that you're using in the punching scenario, Bryan?
So it's a Hayabusa HD. It's an HD model. It's called the FPP Straight. And I used the 5/0 HD model. And dude, to give you understanding, like if you took like a Gamakatsu super heavy flipping hook, it's similar bite, but it's a little thinner diameter gauge on the hook, but it's still HD. Like you can let them have it.
Yeah,
that's my go-to, for flipping, and that's like all forms of flipping. Like at Lake Fork this year, I did a ton of flipping a D-bomb on 20-pound fluorocarbon, like a 5/16. I was fishing for spawning fish I couldn't see around bushes and stuff, and that was my hook as well. So that's my go-to.
Yeah.
Is that a sealed line tie area, or like
Yes.
some of the other hook companies have
Yes.
gone to?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, I struggled, and these guys know it. Rich and Justin both know it. Like I went to the cleanup crawl, which is I've been catching fish on that, since that came out, and it has a little bit bigger body, and I struggled. I lost big fish for a season, and only big ones, which was fun, but I moved over to the Aaron Martins. Like it's heavy. It's odd. It's like a heavy duty finesse, but it has a slightly downgraded barb and a slightly thinner diameter, just like you're talking about on the Hayabusa. And man, oh man, it absolutely eliminated any losses just by downgrading that wire just a little bit.
And you probably feel the same way. It's going through the plastic easier, you know.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah. That it's so and guys, if you're here's the deal, if what you're doing is working, you're good to go. Don't, you can listen, you make the change to what Bryan's doing. If you're missing fish, if you're having problems, if you're breaking or you're losing fish at a higher rate than you should, that's when you want to make the adjustment, because we're all so different. Like we all set the hook differently. We're all tall, short, round, and people pressure fish in a different way. So it's when but don't be stubborn. Like, and that's Bryan, I'm so excited. I can't wait to sit my son down, and I'm going to make him sit down and listen to your dialogue about fishing with a partner, because it's some of the most priceless and important dialogue that I've heard put together in a short package like that. I can't wait for that to but one of the key things you said there was don't be stubborn. And that's all of fishing. So that's some amazing stuff. I want to ask you a question. You went to this to be named at a later time, this wedding table named spot to win this tournament. Like, how could you be sure it had grass? How could you be sure it had the right kind of grass? Did you look at it at practice, or did you just go sight unseen, hoping that it was right?
So how I could say this is one deal that I leaned on heavy the second day, and this is just because of tidal, level of the particular morning. I had to adjust. The tide was super low. I couldn't do what I did the day prior.
Mm-hmm.
It was, and that's a whole different science, guys. Just because it says tomorrow the tide's an hour later, so if high tide today's at 8, tomorrow's around 9, doesn't always mean it's gonna be the same level. As we all know, moon and wind affects it, and it can be drastically different. And when you're dealing with shallow water, it can be a big thing. So I went to this other deal and got a lot of bites, and seeing that, I knew they would be on this other deal that I went to day 3. It's just that's what I want to. That's why I reiterated that years of experience and being very comfortable in this Potomac and this sector of the river. I knew once I saw they were on this one deal, I 100% knew they would be on this other deal. And I didn't even go to it first thing. I went to it just a little bit into the morning, and we didn't catch many, but I caught like a 3 3/4. He caught a 3 1/2. He caught a 4. I caught almost a 3. Like, the right ones were there, and it's just, I just knew it. Like, that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. That going with your gut is such a key thing, and being able to do that sight unseen. I mean that's how you win tournaments. So many guys think you got to find the fish and the spot at practice, but so often those tournament wins come, live in the live tournament decisions.
Yeah. True.
That's a fact. Something has to transpire better than you were predicting. Something has to go really good. Like, the plan C for this derby was way better than I thought, and that's what I want. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. Plan A was pretty good. Plan B was garbage, and Plan C was like, wow, this is way, way better. So that has to happen, man. And, you know, having this other deal, like now when I went to it, guys, I did not know they were going to be there. Like it took about 5 minutes to get a bite, and it was a good one. Once I caught that fish, like I told my co I said, they're never here by themselves. Like they're either here or they're not. And, you know, that was the 100% winning that event because everything else I had was pretty dried up, and it would have been a real roll of the dice anywhere else. If that didn't happen right there, I wouldn't have won the event. So it was a big deal.
Well, congratulations on winning your 150th Toyota Series tournament. You know, that's amazing. Really winning, you win an awful lot, and it's amazing to and you can hear it in the details. And that's the difference, I think, Rich. You can hear it in the way Bryan talks, like diving into those little bitty, from the mental edge, dealing with a partner, to extra knot on top of your Palomar knot. Those little details, man. That's what separates the champions.
Absolutely. Bryan, I got one last question for you. When you're in it, when you're preparing for a tournament and you're in a tournament, you're going through, days 1, 2, 3 on the Elite Series, you have 4. Do you always have the mindset of I'm fishing for the win, or are there events where, whether it be day 1, 2, 3, whatever, where something fundamentally changes and you say, okay, now it's time to not think about getting a top 50 or a top 20 or a top 10. We're going to go out to try to win.
100%, man. So when I first started traveling and fishing a professional level trail like the FLW, you're going from a guy that didn't ever travel, who won a fair amount of stuff locally, like I'm going to go win or bust. I'm just going to go do what I do. And so I learned the hard way, man. And to continuously make a career of it, you cannot do that, man. You cannot. There's so many reasons why. The guys are insanely good, man. So there's no coming back from bombs. Like early on in FLW days, you could have 2 bombs, but you got to have 2 top 10s. That stuff doesn't work on elites, man. Like, so nowadays, if I recognize an opportunity early on in practice or early on in an event, like, dude, this is, we have a shot, chips are pushed in, bro. But thankfully, I'm wise enough now, more seasoned now, to know when that's an honest reality or not. And if it's not, I'm straight up management points, and maybe something transpires during that, but like, instead of saying I'm just going to throw this giant swim bait around these docks to try to win, or glide bait, you can't. So unfortunately, man, I hate to say this, dude, but I'm not always fishing for the win. There's tournaments I don't know how to win. Like I don't even know how to get a check. I'm back at the house, like, pulling my hair out. How am I even going to get a limit? So it's just, I think, being consistent, knowing when there's opportunity and when there's not, and being real with yourself. If you can prolong your journey, make classics, I believe the good events are going to come. Like, dude, this year, all right, just walk with me on this, okay? This year, I finished 25th in points. I only had 1 top 10 in Mississippi River. I felt like I could win that, by the way. But at the practice in the Mississippi River, I did not. That happened. That happened during the derby, and I recognized it. But at the Sabine River, bro, I don't know if y'all followed all this. I found a spot way up. It's a spot on the Sabine. What's his name? He won the event.
Slapper.
Pat Slapper, dude, class act. This is how I can explain this, dude. I've been around the block. I know you guys have too. I went and checked it. I found it like day 1 or day 2 of practice. I went up there late day 3 just to kind of gauge if anybody was around. Now, I saw Pat, and I know he saw me near it. And I could tell by his demeanor, bro. Like you could just tell, like he had seen those fish. Like if you went near those fish, you saw those fish, guys. They're on a couple isolated pipes. You got something near them, they were gonna say, "Hey, here we are." So, being a seasoned vet that I am, dude, like I paid attention that morning of blast off for his boat number, and he unfortunately. He got out like boat 50 and I was boat 90. That event, I felt like I could do some damage in, but boat numbers determined me not going there. When he's leading after day 1, you damn sure with the school I'm brought up on, you can't say, "Hey, bud, tomorrow I'm boat 10, I'm going there." You know I wanted to go there. I'd let him have it out of respect. But, dude, so now that tournament became managing points.
Right.
Instead of saying, like letting it hit you so hard and then you finish 90th because your dreams were crushed. I still think I got like a 30th, just fishing in the tidal water that I was over there in Taylor's. But you got to maximize every opportunity, and you got to be smart, not stubborn, and good ones will come to you. Like I said, the Mississippi River did not look like I was going to win going into it. I was going to fight for a check. The bait presentation changed the whole outlook of that event, and I felt like I could win it. But, yeah, that's it. Sorry to go on and on and on.
Oh, you're good, man. You're good. It's there's a lot of valuable information there, and it sounds to me like the more as an angler you can manage to stay just consistent, the more times you're going to have an opportunity to put yourself in a position to win because things are going to click.
Yep. More cuts you make, the more chances you have. If you don't make that top 50, you don't go on to the next day. If you make more top 10s, it's all making that cut, man.
Yeah, it's interesting, and I think of the Open that we fished, and you talked about your A, B, and C places. Like when you have 150 boats, like you don't know where everybody's going to set up, and your A spots, get overrun by people, and you wind up falling back to B and C, trying to make a win out of what you thought was your secondary patterns, and that's a lot of stuff that you don't read about that in the, the technique section of things. You got to turn lemons into lemonade a lot of times out on tour.
Quickly. And that's what's so cool about where we're from, guys. It's not 2 boats, it's 50 boats on a spot. So now you really have to figure it out quick. So where we're from might make us better at that whole understanding what pressure does to tournament fishing. That's a big thing, guys. Like 50 boats fishing a small little sector on the flats. One guy's gonna look like a hero there, dude. The rest aren't. So having something up your sleeve, which we all want, that doesn't mean you're going to always find that either, to have something up your sleeve.
Well, but you and I coincidentally bumped into each other in a 50 boat field, and I want to thank you publicly for some of those swim worms that I ran out of. I really appreciate that. Caught a couple fish with them. I appreciate you shutting down and helping me out.
Dude, I look over and I'm watching Pete reel these suckers in now. Look, and Pete's the season bet. He was on the outskirts. He let everybody get right in this little hornet's nest, and Pete was on the outskirts. But dude, he's like this, just whacking them, and I'm like, gosh, I wish I knew what he was using. Thankfully, he come over because he needed some more of them, and he clued me in, and I caught one not long after that. And I want to thank you for sharing that with me.
Oh, that's awesome. I appreciate that. And yeah, that was a very, very interesting tournament, and it was a good deal. I wanted to ask you this before
wherever I was, Pete, I was just somewhere rotting away. Just
no, you were really close to the mother load. I'm gonna tell you, I gave Gray a spot that I wish I would have shared with them, because Gray was chasing the points. You know what I'm saying? And he had a tough first day.
Oh, I know. I know there was the biggest fish of the tournament came into my boat. Me and Gray were having a conversation just minutes before it happened. Mm-hmm. That's that C spot that I didn't think was going to be very good.
Yes.
Last 3 hours on day 2. And I said, oh boy, I have messed up.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was a huge fish. I think that was 6'6", right, Rich?
Well, here's the deal. When I caught it, it was 6'9" on my scale. On Bass's scale, it was 6'5", and the next day I pulled a bluegill out of my live well about that long. I said,
man, what a beauty, and great tournament there. But I wanted to ask you real quick, because we're going to let you go. I know you got a busy day, Bryan. Are you going to fish all? I know you fish Champlain EQs. I want to ask you. You're not going to fish them all, but good God, I never 20 pounds was 70th place on Lake Champlain. Like, what the heck was going on up there?
Like, I knew it was going to be good. I want to say something, man. I have never caught a 5-pound smallmouth there. Like, people say, man, I catch a 5 on a scale weighed. I have never caught a 5-pound smallmouth there. There were so many 5 to 5 3/4 pound smallmouth caught.
What? No,
5
kid.
3/4. So I don't know what's going on, and they look the same. Like, they're not like swollen goby eaters. Like, they're good looking long fish. I don't know what's going on up there, dude. Obviously, you know, we're accessing fish and we're getting better at it every year that we just never did for years. Like, I've been fishing tournaments up there since 2011. I know Pete, and one day I wish I could have a sit down with Pete and he would share some of his knowledge with me when I'm not in off limits for once. And that's just a thought of mine. I've been waiting for years to ask you that, but Pete's been fishing up there forever, dude. Like, I don't know what's going on up there, man. I don't. It's a special place. I think we're accessing fish we never did. The largemouth are still there. Maybe not the numbers that they used to be, but the smallmouth's just off the hook.
That's amazing. I couldn't believe the weights that I was seeing. And anytime, let's have, maybe we'll have that conversation out on your striper boat in the fall sometime. Or coming soon. I'd love to get down. I've been wanting to go down and fish with you down there sometime. But yeah, amazing stuff that's going on at Champlain. A shout out to Emil Wagner, right, for winning that derb. Just, you know, with massive fish. I did see some clips. I didn't get to digest any of the content from that event, but I did see some big largemouth getting flipped in the boat. And I don't know how they played into the tournament. Did they play in the tournament at all, Bryan? Do you know?
I know one guy in the top 10, I think his name was Cody Stahl, was leaning on him heavy. That was, okay. I think, really heavy on his plan. I think maybe a fish or two got caught by some of the other guys. Like Gray had a largemouth or two. I know day one he had a giant. But I think there was plenty targeted, just not a lot of checks made. I'm pretty sure Fighter was all in on largies with a top 20. But, I went up there with like no sleep because the Toyota ended on a Saturday. Sunday started practice for Champlain, but I went up there on no sleep, but I was not tired. I was excited to go to my favorite lake in the world. And unfortunately, for a day and 3/4, I was trying to be stubborn and I had preconceived notions on what they should be doing. And it burnt me. And then day 3, my final day of practice, I made an even worse decision. And that was probably because I was tired. I decided to go down to tie for 3 hours, never have a bite, then turn around and come up and look for smallmouth for the last half of the day. Because anybody knows driving down the tie is an hour and a half. It's not like hop, skip, and jump. So that was my day. But preconceived notions got me there, man. But I knew I was okay with it because I wasn't chasing points. I wasn't chasing a classic bid. I was trying to win the event. I knew what I like to do. If it was going on, I could win on it. For the life of me, with the water historically low and the time of year and the grass looked like crap, why they weren't on anything I like to catch them on, I don't know. It didn't make sense. And it kind of spun me out, to be honest with you, because everything said it should be going on. And that's why I preached earlier, don't be stubborn, man, and it bit me there. But I feel like I honestly feel like being tired and wore out affected that approach. Like maybe if I'm sharper, I see it quicker and realize it quicker. Like that's not happening. You need to let go of it and move on.
Yeah. Well, I 100% agree with you on that philosophy. You think about high performing athletes, everybody talks about the importance of rest and recovery for their physical bodies, but your brain needs that rest. It works better. It doesn't succumb to being stubborn as much. And your brain functions so much better when you're rested. You just make better decisions.
True. That's it, man. I know it affected me, unfortunately, but I thought it would be an easy transition with the water. I mean, the water was like 93. It was so low, like But the largemouth, when I watched live, the final day as I was getting home, dude, the largemouth was on the bank. The largemouth were on the bank on a historically low Lake Champlain.
It's crazy.
So it was like, who would have saw that? But whatever. I would have recognized it like, hey, dude, I know September. I know they're biting. Let's figure this out. Like if I'm fresher, I would have said, all right, they're not here. And I probably would have chased them down a little bit better, but it's all good.
Yeah. Well, you go for the win, man. I mean, I talked to my son about that too. Like you can't pick up a big jig and fish it all day and not get bit, and then be down on yourself because you did that for the intent to try to get the bigger bite and try to win the tournament. So you made that sacrifice and you got to sleep well because of it, and and that's what going for the win sometimes looks like, but you did get another amazing win. Congrats again, buddy. A lot of fun talking to you, man. It's really so interesting to dive into your mindset because it's so strong, and you can see why you win so much. But looking forward to watching you through the springtime. We got another big Elite Series coming, and we look forward to rooting for you, this upcoming year.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate y'all, and I wish you guys luck on the rest of your events, and especially your Hartwell events. And Pete, hopefully you guys get to go do that. But either way, it is what it is, man. But Appreciate y'all.
Yeah, appreciate you. Appreciate what you do for Bass University. Great champion, Bryan Schmitt. Thanks, buddy. Have a great day. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you, guys.
You bet, another amazing win. A champion angler. So, I can't believe it's like every time you think you're done learning lessons, you talk to Bryan and you're like, okay, well, now I've got to continue to, up my game and tweak my game just a little bit. And it's it's every time when you talk to him.
That's the cool thing about what Bass U really offers to all of our members, is that since we work with so many different anglers across the board, like everybody learns differently and everybody learns from people differently. Like anybody that went to public school or even private school, whatever, as long as you weren't homeschooled, can look back and say like, oh, that teacher in that grade really was able to teach me effectively. Well, that's because their communication style worked for your brain, right? And in this instance, Bryan, his communication style works really well for the way you and I think about fishing, because of the body of water that we fish on so much. There's so much relatability there, right? Cool thing about Bass U is if you're somebody that lives on Hartwell, or you're somebody that lives on near Lake Fork, or you're somebody that lives near Lake Okeechobee, guess what? We have instructors from all of those different corners of the country that you can find that relatability with, where what they're teaching and trying to convey is going to click. So as the content manager of this whole program, I'm speaking to all of our customers right now, all of our subscribers and all of our potential subscribers. I challenge you, find the instructors that click for you, because when you do, your learning curve gets cut down by 5x, 10x, 20x, because when they say things, the important things stick. And that's what happened today with Bryan and us talking to him, is that there were certain things that he said. When he said them, it made perfect sense to us. And there is an opportunity for everybody to learn that way through the Bass U program if you put the time in.
And I just decided right now, Rich, you're going to be learning on the Roku app. You're going to be learning on Amazon Fire Stick. You're going to be able to download, and you're going to be able to watch this stuff, whether you're on a plane, whether you're at a signal, all the things that you wanted from Bass University to help you become a better angler. We're stepping up with all new upgraded apps, new website, and also some amazing new content that we've been working on. The Bass U breakdowns, which are going to, right into Rich's, dialogue there, are going to be keying up on lakes in your part of the country, the greatest anglers in the world, talking about the lakes, where, how to break them down seasonally, the baits that are effective, that's going to cut your learning curve and get you out there catching fish faster, as well as some, upgrades to our winter circle instruction and our courses at Bass U. You're coming over to Bass U, we're going to get you dialed in on a variety of courses, 2, 3, 4 seminars that will help you on a specific topic, whether it's fall fishing, whether it's flipping or pitching. All that stuff is coming to you at Bass University late in 2025, and is going to be all new for you guys. Excited to bring that to you. So the cat is out of the bag, Rich. I did it.
The whole cat, not even just a little bit. It's all. We rolled it out. That's awesome.
Yes, we're gonna roll it out. Let's do it. We're working on it. We'll let you know when it's going to be available. We're still under development on a lot of things, but we're going to be definitely having it in place before next season, probably in the next couple of weeks.
And you said Roku and Amazon Prime?
Amazon Fire Stick.
Amazon Fire Stick. Roku and Amazon Fire Stick. Wow.
Yes.
Big
yes.
Stuff.
Upgraded Android and Apple apps, iOS apps. Everything's upgraded. And the experience, you're going to love it. It's all going to be right at your fingertips like it always has been, but just little better, a little quicker, a little easier to use and wherever you're at. So looking forward to bringing that to you guys. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll talk about that a little bit more right after this.
We're off the clock to clock more fish, to fill our live wells and empty our coolers, because there's more to explore. The latest Humminbird fish finders work fast, see clearly, and know all the best spots. They fish even smarter paired with the Minn Kota and break down the water like never before. If you like your plans loose and lines tight, then it's time to explore. Only with Humminbird. Get right to the fight. New Mega Live 2 forward-facing sonar puts you on more fish with an ultra-clear, rock-solid picture of underwater action. Next-gen clarity, next-level fun. Only with Humminbird.
Do you love bass fishing? Then you have to check out Bass University.
Access over 1,000 bass fishing seminars and episodes.
Get discounts on the tackle from your favorite tackle brand.
Learn the latest techniques from the top pros.
And never stop learning.
And never stop learning. And never, ever stop learning. Welcome to the Bass University.
Welcome to Bass University.
Welcome to Bass University.
Welcome to the Bass University.
Welcome to Bass University.
The original Element rods were really Cashin's first launch, kind of in a price point level. With that, we got a lot of feedback.
And that's what brought about the Element Z2 and its launch. The most affordable American-made rod on the market.
Mother Nature may be tough. I'm tougher. I'll take you where chaos is the cost of entry and where the fish are worth the fight. Because the bigger the question marks, the better the quest.
Welcome back to Bass University. I saw the Element rod being advertised on that commercial block, the Cashin Element rod. Guys, you got to check this rod series out. It's a tremendous price point. For you guys that are dealing with, wanting to upgrade into multiple rods for specific techniques, the Element series is a great way to go. They're coming at just over $100. You got a great discount as a pro member at Bass University, and so go check that out. And those rods are amazing. They're Jake and I use them all the time. We use them to qualify for the Bassmaster National Team Championship. Riz.
Yes.
Nice. So we love our Cashin rods. We love Bryan Schmitt. Also want to invite you. What you heard from Bryan Schmitt today is just a taste of what is available with Bryan at Bass University. He's been with us for several years now, and you can hear why. He's a great angler, has become an amazing instructor. So all types of seminars from Bryan, including grass fishing, swim and jigs, and a variety of other content available at your fingertips over there. Go check it out at Bass U. Rich, what do we got happening at Bass University this week?
This week at Bass University, we are releasing Logan Park's Tennessee River ledge fishing strategies.
Nice.
And this is it's a comprehensive seminar on all things ledge fishing in the Tennessee River. Logan does a really good job about his not only his strategy on how to catch fish on the Tennessee River, but the little things like the boat positioning and the angles and the process of finding them through utilizing Humminbird electronics, which is really a lot of the battle on being able to effectively find and catch those fish on the Tennessee River. So you want to check that one out. It's a great seminar. Logan Park's Tennessee River ledge fishing.
Excellent. I'm checking out the Logan Park's Insane tournament, which I would love to go participate with Jake. We're trying to figure out if we can fit that into our schedule. What a great tournament where the college kids draft the high school kids and compete for a $25,000 first prize, and they give away a boat raffled off, and there's colleges there for the high school kids to talk to. Really, really cool event. And on Lake Martin, which I have a special connection to. Over the years, haven't been on Lake Martin in a million years. I'd love to go back. Maybe Jake and I can fit it into our schedule in November this year. But I want to congratulate you, Rich and Justin. Justin, come on in. Johnny on the spot. Great, really great picture of the crawfish. I appreciate that. But congratulations to you. And here's Justin. You guys are now. You guys, there's no question. Are you guys going or not, or are you guys still deciding whether you guys are going to make that national championship?
Well, I hope so. We hope so, man. It's there's a little commitment there. Got to figure some things out, but I'd like to go rip a jerk bait and catch spotted bass. That's for sure.
Yep. And you could stay at, shout out to Jeff Olson. Justin, you're going to have to get off the water early to get dinner and stuff if you go to hang out with Jeff. But what do you think, Justin? You want to head back down to Lake Hartwell?
Yeah, it'd be fun if we can make everything work out. Yeah, for sure.
Well, congratulations, and your influence helped me, by the way, on the Chesapeake. I know you're big on the swim worm. You're throwing that swim worm. I use that swim worm a lot. We talked about it today on the show. Got me throwing it and really having some of my better success at this year's Open. I've been throwing it for years. Just really had never got on that bite aggressively, but I sure did find it on day 2 of the tournament down there. So that was very cool. Yep. It is good to hear. Good stuff. But you guys had a good tournament. What was your deal? Jake and I caught 7 fish. You guys did better than that, right? You guys were around the numbers, is that right?
I mean, fair, I guess. I mean, we didn't, well, I guess when we got around the right areas, we were catching them consistent. Well, Justin was catching them consistent. Justin carried us for large majority of the day. And I was just netting them, which is fine. I love doing that. So.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say we were around a ton of fish. It was fall fishing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You get a bite here, you get a bite there. We just didn't have the right bites,
Once we connected in that one zone and started catching them on the chatterbait, I felt like we were catching them consistently then, but they were just all the same size.
Yeah.
They were all the same, they were literally the exact same size. They're all just 2-pounders, flat 2-pounders. And then there was a way to get slightly larger bites doing something else, and which we talked about on the show already. But that pattern was, you got a lot less bites doing it, and you definitely can't afford to break them off when you get them.
Yes, you experienced that. I know I was using the Texas rig cleanup crawl that dominated our catch for Jake and I through the day, including our big smallmouth, which was the lunker smallmouth, came on a Texas rig, which is a surprise to me. I don't usually catch them that way, but what you were punching, what were the other techniques you guys were using?
Go ahead, Justin.
We caught them on a little bit of everything. I think we weighed in a fish on a spinnerbait, weighed in a fish on a shaky head, weighed in some punching fish, weighed in chatterbait fish, all fishing, man.
Yeah, that's September fishing, man. Mixing it up.
Yep.
Well,
nothing special, obviously, on our end. We might need to talk to Duke about what he's doing, but
hey, well, here's a little nugget for us just on the pod. We were on the same program as Duke. So what I'm saying, Justin, is we didn't miss it in the morning out there.
Okay. That's good to know.
We weren't around the right zones in the morning. We weren't around the zone inside the zone.
Yeah.
In the morning.
Gotcha.
So,
well, congrats to Duke Nave, who he made the top 10 down at the Open this year, and he has been just a dominant force out on the Upper Bay locally, man. He's just been cleaning it up, man. So good job.
Congrats to Mike.
Mike.
They won the points, right? Mike and Sean.
Yep.
Shout out.
Did they?
Yep.
Yeah.
Sean McKee's a Bass U guy.
Okay. I thought I had that mixed up. I thought Duke won the points and Sean were second. And last year Mike won the points and Duke was second. Did I have that reversed?
Yep.
No surprise. Yep. No surprise there. I got the data mixed up.
It's all there. It's just,
Yeah, those guys are killers. Well, and we saw are we going to use the sub of the week that I saw down at the
No, not you. We'll push that back. I need you to write down that information, and you let me down there, and I've gone through some resources to try and get you what you're looking for there, and it's coming up empty on my end. Yeah, I haven't gotten what you're looking for, but we still got a sub of the week this week. So shout out to Warren, Penn Warner Fish. There you go, Pete.
Looking handsome.
Bass U hat. So shout out to Warren. Thanks for representing.
Warren on Penn Warner.
That's right. If you got any pics, send them my way. Rocking a Bass U hat, rocking a Bass U shirt. Send them over to me on social. Feature you on the show. Tell me what you caught them on, what lake. Pete wants to know the waypoint too, so send that while you're at it.
I definitely. It's funny. Bryan wasn't giving up any waypoints, man. He wasn't even even mentioning names on this winning spot.
I even tried to find his wedding itinerary thing when behind the scenes, but there's a lot of Bryan Schmitts out there, and a lot of recently married Bryan Schmitts. So I never did find it.
That would be funny. Justin could have a wedding table plan. You could have named the tables like Chickamuxon.
Yeah, I know that's yeah.
We could have guessed.
You guys.
Yep, I appreciate that. No, that was that's good stuff. And you heard me drop the bomb on Bass U. Justin, I know you've been working hard behind the scenes at a lot of the stuff that we're rolling out with Bass U. What are you most excited about?
I mean, everything. It's hard to pick one right now, but I mean, obviously the Roku and Amazon is pretty exciting.
That's what I like the most. The Roku, the Roku for me, because I've switched over at my house, and I'm all Roku at all of our TVs, and I watch a lot. That's how I watch the Bassmasters, and man, am I watching that channel. That channel is awesome. I was watching just this morning the Lake Okeechobee win, where Tyler Rivette won it. Yeah, he won it up in the canal, and Steve Kennedy gave him a run. Bernie Schultz flashed with a big bag, and Clark Wendlet, had probably one of his last major performances before he decided to retire. So that was watching those guys. Scott Martin catching them on prop baits, catching them on frogs. Steve Kennedy just camping out in a shallow water pad field and fishing like a sloth with a black popping frog. I don't know what kind it was. It might have been a spro, but man, it looked like one of those new gambler frogs.
It was a spro, I believe.
It was. It looked bigger. It looked big. May have just been the close-ups. But watching those guys do so, it's just so much fun watching that channel on Roku. everything's there. If you guys haven't seen that yet, man, I highly recommend it. They're replaying the classics. They have, you know, all the content that they filmed over the years. They've been heavily focused on the last two or 3 or 4 years. I look forward to, man. I hope they replay some of the old timey stuff up there. That would be fun for me to see. But my point is, we're Bass University app is going to be on Roku, so you're going to be able to watch it and scroll through, pick your instructor, your courses that you want to. So you can do it in your living room, in your garage, wherever you have your Roku device hooked up. It's going to be available through Bass University TV is going to be at your fingertips. So what a great thing. We're excited to bring that to you guys. Everybody's been asking for it. And we've put that development together, or we're in the process, and we hope to be rolling that out in hopefully weeks. We'll see. This sometimes can take long, always takes longer than we want it to, but we're getting there, and we'll certainly have it very, very soon. So excited about that. Excited about your help putting that together, guys. Both you guys are an integral part of Bass U, and we're excited to bring this to the audience. And other than that, guys, I guess we're what do we have? Do we have our next week show planned? Can we announce that, Rich? I know we're scheduled out in advance for a lot of our guests. I can't remember about next week.
We don't have next week yet. We have the following 2 weeks. Following 2 weeks, you guys can be looking forward to seeing Bassmaster Elite Series AOY Chris Johnston, and the following week Justin Lucas. But have no fear, we will be back again next week with another Bass U Live.
7 p.m.
Let us 7 p.m. Let us know who you guys want to see. Chris Johnson, by the way, I just saw him fishing on Thousand Islands. Him and Corey both. That was they showed the Robert Gee episode where Chris and Robert were battling out right there in the mouth of the St. Lawrence and Cape Vincent zone, catching giants like they normally do. That was the one that Corey got seasick.
Yep. We were up there like a week after, weren't we?
Yep.
I guess so. Yeah. Do you guys get seasick?
I got it this year for the first. Well, I've gotten it out in the ocean, but this year for the first time I ever got it in freshwater. Justin, it was in our first club tournament of the year when it was and it was foggy. I was out on that flat, and I was trying to line up on waypoints and keep one eye on my forward-facing sonar at the same time, and it was foggy, so I couldn't see the bank. And I had my head down, bouncing up and down for long enough. And at one point, I stepped back, and everything went into circles. And I said, "Whoa!"
Yeah, I could see that club tournament was brutal, but I've never gotten seasick. I'm a beast, so I don't get seasick.
Well, good. I'm glad of that. I had it was Thousand Islands in the middle of a tournament. I got hit with it. I actually pulled up to a dock behind an island, and I got out onto the dock and laid down, next to my boat to allow the cobwebs to dissipate. And I laid down, and my head would clear, nauseousness would go away, go back out in the giant waves, get sick again, come back and do it all over again.
You've dealt with that seasickness a lot. I know a lot of your stories that you've told me. What exactly happens when you get seasick? It's just lightheaded, you just kind of black out type of thing?
Here's the thing for me, Justin, it's just like the actual symptoms are nauseousness, vertigo. The last place in the world you want to be is in that boat.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing in the world that can make me not want to fish except that. Like, you just want to get on the bank. And the weirdest thing is, as soon as you get on the bank,
You're
and
fine.
it goes away. It goes away immediately, you know? And
I've never
I've noticed some
experienced
different
that.
things. Yeah, I noticed some different things. Like when you come up culling. I'll never forget one of my partners in a tournament out of Lake Erie, out of Buffalo, and he had caught his 6th fish, and he was doing okay, and he went to cull, and he had the scale, and he hadn't weighed his fish yet, so he weighed all his fish. I think he balanced beamed 2 of them, and he got up from that, and he never made another cast the rest of the day. Like, he was fine all day, like catching those fish, but then once your brain starts looking at the scale and you're all bouncing around. We were out in giant 5 to 7 foot waves. I mean, it was a monster day, and yeah, he just laid on the back deck for hours, and that's just, it's horrible. That's usually when it gets you, when you put your head down. For me, it was like, you break off and you got to retie. So you're inside your rod.
You're focusing on something else. Like
you're inside your rod lock. But the weird anomaly that I discovered with it is the bigger the waves, the less I got seasick. Like when they were up over 5 feet, it didn't bother me. When it was like 2 and 3 feet, man, because you're all over the place. But when you're in those really big waves, you're going up on a swell and you're coming down. It's relatively predictable, you know, and it didn't bother me as much. But when that 2 to 3 foot chop coming at you a million different ways, and it's no fun, you know. But anyway, I saw the episode where Corey went through that, you know, where he had to toss his cookies and get back into the game,
which is crazy because he's, you know, lived out on that fishery. So I guess it can happen to anybody.
It can happen. Well, you know, and the odd thing is for me, it doesn't happen anymore. I grew out of it. And I don't know why that is. I'm happy that it is that way, but I don't feel that way anymore. And you know who else doesn't feel is the kids that I take fishing out there, Jake and his buddy Tanner that we fish with up at Thousand Islands every year. Yep. Man, them kids, number one, they're both fearless. They don't give a crap, man. They're out in 5 foot waves. They're like, go faster, go faster. They think it's a carnival, you know? And
on your back, yeah.
They're just there, and they don't get sick. They don't get dizzy. They don't lose it at all. You know, it's interesting.
Most of the time, the reason that it happens when you're offshore is because you can't see land.
You can't see land. Yeah.
That's what absolutely got me this year was that it was foggy. I couldn't see land, and I was staring at that darn board instead of just fishing. But it went away quick. Like it went away in 5 minutes because it got the sun came up, it burned the fog off, and all of a sudden good. But
yeah, most guys down at the Tennessee River and on the Florida lakes will never have to deal with those big crazy waterways that we have up here. But anyway, it's look for all that new stuff coming for Bass University. Go check out the Bassmaster site, man. Really enjoy it. Check out Bryan Schmitt's training seminars, man. He's one of the best, and we have a lot of valuable content that's going to help you deal with grass fishing situations. A lot of people avoid the grass. Promise you, the big ones and the winning fish are there. So do not run from the grass. And Bryan teaches you how to do it. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. Thank you, Justin. Thank you, Rich. And we'll see everybody next week at Bass University Live.